Hey guys, in this video I'll be showing you how to make your own wooden dummy leg. It's a fairly simple build, but the leg will become extremely strong. Okay, so let's get started. The leg consists of two pieces, the male part and the female part. These ones right here are made out of a solid piece. But we're going to do it a bit different and a bit more simple. When you do make it out of a solid piece, it requires some machinery that probably not everyone has. So I'm going to show you how to do it in a much simpler way that requires only a few tools, but you do need a planer to do this. Let's start off with the female part. The female part consists of three pieces: a thin, a thick, and a thin. So two thin pieces and the thick one in the middle. And we're simply just going to glue them together, something like this. Before we start the gluing, we want to make this angle cut on basically all of the parts. That means the two thin ones, and also the center one. So I'm just going to transfer this angle to the piece, and we'll cut them off on our circular saw. This angle is going to be also on the male part. It's exactly the same angle on all of the parts. Now for this cut right here, it's going to be 28 degrees. Yep. So I'm going to take my bevel and set this at 28 degrees. I'm going to transfer that to my saw. I've already done that, so fits alright. And now we're ready to make the first cut. We're going to cut the two thin ones first on the angle, the 28 degrees. The cut doesn't have to be super nice. You can make this cut with a circular saw, jigsaw, bandsaw, or table saw like this. The reason why it doesn't have to be perfect is that this is just gonna stick out about 4 to 5 mil. We're gonna make these two a bit longer than it should be. Something like this. You see, they're a bit too long. And when we're done with all the glue up, we're gonna cut this off, plane it off, and sand it nice. So this cut doesn't have to be perfect. Now I've cut one end off in 90-degree angle. We're going to take the center part out, push them together, make sure they're the same length at this end, make a marking all the way across like this. And then we're going to transfer the 28 degrees from our bevel. And there you go. Then we've got the exact same length on both of them. This cut, take this with your circular saw, jigsaw, bandsaw, or whatever. Now we've cut the two pieces, exactly the same length. And now we're gonna cut the thick one, or the part in the middle. Line them up where we cut the 90-degree angle right here. make a marking here on the thick part. This is going to go off. I'm going to take the thin one and put it on the center one. Make sure that they're lining up at the 90-degree cut right here. Already have the line. And now I'm just going to take the thin one and follow the line we already had. Make a marking right here. Now I want this piece, as I said before, to go out 4 mil extra. So I'm just going to add about 4 mil to this marking. Take our bevel and make a new line. So all this is going off, and this one here will be our centerpiece. Now we're going to cut the center part, and I just want to mention, if you've got a setup for these 28 degrees, it's important that all the cuts that we made for the leg are these 28 degrees. It has to be the same setup. All right? Now the female part is actually done. Line them up at the 90-degree angle, and it's finished. Now if you don't have a circular saw for this cut, the centerpiece has to be very accurate. Then you can always take it with a jigsaw and use your hand planer afterwards. It'll give you the same result. Let's move on to the male part. Now for the male part, the centerpiece for the male and the female is exactly the same thickness. But I'm going to take the male part and take about 1/2 mil off, because it's a very tight fit and I need to have room for a bit of glue. So I'm going to take 1/2 mil more off the centerpiece for the male part. We'll cut the centerpiece of the male, the 28 degrees, and that cut doesn't have to be perfect. That's the piece that goes up, and again we're gonna add a bit more so it sticks out here. But I'm just gonna cut this now. Now I've cut off the male part, and now we need to cut off the 2 small ones. First we're going to mark the 2 small dots, and we're simply just going to line this up with the 28-degree angle. Make a marking here on the top. I'm just going to add 3 mil extra because I want this part to be sticking a bit out, and I can always plane that off later. So I've got a marking right here. Line that up. Make sure this is the end where we have the 90-degree cut. Line that up perfectly. Square it off here, all the way. Take the center part out. Now we've got a line right here. And take your bevel and mark the 28 degrees on both. There you go. Now we need to cut this off. I've cut the two pieces. You can use a bandsaw, jigsaw. It's just very important that these two pieces are exactly the same, identical. Now we're just about done with the male part. Put them together, line them up here in the back where we have the 90-degree cut, and there you go. The male part is done, and now we just need to glue them together. Now we're just about done with the male part. Put them together, line them up here in the back where we have the 90-degree cut, and there you go. The male part is done, and now we just need to glue them together. I'll start by gluing the female part first. You want to make sure that the 90-degree cut is squared off. It's not super important, not critical in any way, because we did extend these about 3 mil, but what is important is this side right here. That side needs to be completely level, and we're going to use some of these. I just put some tape on, put them on like this, put clamps on, and then I know that the 3 pieces are lining up perfectly. But let's start the gluing. Now for the male part, it's exactly the same process. We'll put these two on here to prevent them from moving away from each other. Now in this direction right here, I do have a little trick that I'll show you. On the 2 outer pieces, I'll put these very small nails in. One almost here in the back, and one in the center, both in the center. Make sure they're straight. There you go. And I'm going to take one of these and just cut them off. And I'm going to do that on the back side as well. them off. They're just gonna stick out like 2 mil, nothing more. We're gonna line them up, both of them. I'll take one first. Take your angle right here and line them up. Push them together like that. Take the other one, line them up. Like that. And push them together firmly. This will prevent them from moving in this direction. I'm still going to use these like this. It's probably not necessary, but just a precaution. Right, we're ready for the glue up. I've cleaned up all the glue and put them through my thicknesser, and I think they turned out pretty good. And the joint is also perfect. There's just a little bit of movement, but we want that because we need to have a bit of room for some glue. Turned out pretty good. The next part is shaping the piece that goes into the dummy, and is going to be reduced this way and also a bit this way. I'm just going to use the bandsaw for this job and sand it after I'm done. Let's get started. Now I'll glue the male and the female part together. Make sure that you clean up all the old glue down here. That way it will fit a bit better together. Let's do the gluing. Time to cut off the extended part right here, and I'm just going to use the bandsaw, and after that I'm going to sand it nice and smooth. Done with the sanding. Joint turned out pretty good, I think. Now I'm going to round these edges right here. I'm just going to use one of these. It's 12.7 in radius. And now we just need to sand the piece. We need to make the hole for the pin, and we'll put the leg into the dummy and simply just take a pin and mark it on the top and at the bottom and pull the leg out. Here's where we have the line, and I'm just going to take my angle, just give it 2 mil, make a line, turn it around. Here's my line as well, 2 mil, make a line, and I'm just going to connect these two that I just made with my angle right here. There you go. I have already made the peg, So I'm going to put that where I want it, right around here. I'm going to do it this way so you guys can see. And make another round line, sorry. And this is where our hole will go. I'm also just gonna make a line here. There you go. Mark the center. Connect those. And I'm going to drill 2 holes with a standard drill. This is 11 millimeters and our peg is 9 millimeters. So I'm going to drill a hole here and here, and then I'm going to chisel out the in-between. I have secured the leg in the workbench, and now I'm just going to drill the 2 holes. The first one right here and the second one right here, which is in a bit of an angle. Put that away. Here I'm just going to use my chisel. There you go. Finally, the leg is done and just need a bit of sanding and then a clear coat of varnish, but I'll wait until I do the rest of the dummy as well.